Hi, this is BESIG Online. I'm Andi White, and we're here with Pete Sharma. Pete, you've done a lot of things at the conference this year, and you do a lot of things in general.
Yeah.
Let's start with the conference this year. What have you done?
Right, well, this was the first year BESIG ever did something before the conference. They organised a PCE, like a pre-conference event.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great because I think they listened to feedback from previous conferences, and I think people said, if we come to the conference, gosh, it's only a couple of days, if we make that trip, could we do something else?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the idea of doing something just beforehand that was, you could come if you wanted to. So they had three.
Mm-hmm.
So Gavin Dudley did real hands-on with technology, so everyone was like in a workshop. Rita Baker did one, and I did the other one.
Yeah.
So what we did, we looked, the title was a bit ambitious, it was like all of business English materials. So we had a whole afternoon, and the first part was looking at just everything that's around, and we did a mind map, and it just shows how much material, how much stuff there is out there.
Okay.
Then after that, we
actually... With materials, you mean hard copies or also websites?
It really was as broad as everything, so stuff online. One thing that came up was Cuisinart rods, and I have forgotten about those. You don't really always think of them in the business English context, but it was that sort of workshop. Someone said Cuisinart rods, someone said what are they? They had to explain these little rods and so on, and then we just sort of went, oh yeah, you could do this or this, business English context. But the first part of the afternoon was mostly print, so course books and things like that. And the second part was amazing. We actually went into workshops looking at digital stuff.
Okay.
And I was so lucky because I could not have done that without the help of a couple of publishers.
Okay.
So Macmillan were really generous. They showed some people the campus, the Macmillan English campus. That meant that they could get hands-on and just play around.
Can you explain what the campus is exactly?
Yeah, it's just like this massive database of interactive materials.
Okay.
And it's one of those things you kind of either know about it or you've used it, or you just, what is the campus? You just don't really know. So the idea was that you could get online and try it out.
Oh, great.
And the other group of people which were so helpful was English 360, these people that have linked up with CUP, Cambridge University Press. So they've got a totally different concept, but it's also online. And so it was great that the workshop split into these two groups, and they could play around, and then we had feedback. And it was a bit of a juggling act because I was standing in the middle, referring to all the publishers, referring to teaching without materials and so on. And I think it went, well, I believe, you sort of know probably as a trainer if it went well and if it didn't.
Yeah.
And I just got that feeling that, it really moved on, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable experience.
I'm sorry I missed that. I was busy talking to people like you, doing interviews, but I heard good things about it.
Well, that was Friday, and then this morning I did a session on mobile learning. It was called M-Learning, or Business English on the Move. And to be really honest, I was actually scared to death because in the room was Gavin Dudley, and he's a very well-known presenter that works with the consultancy. But a lot of what I've learnt about M-Learning has actually come from his colleagues at the consultancy. So I was kind of scared, going, oh my God, there's going to be a real expert in the room. But the range of knowledge in that room ranged from people who actually had never heard the term M-Learning. So going through a sort of standard procedure of, if you like, what is it, defining something, then how could you use it, etc., worked really well, and I had lots and lots of highly desirable objects in the room.
What do you mean by that?
Like Apple's iPad, for instance, which the Amazon's Kindle, the ebook reader, and I had my own iPhone, and
so you own all of those?
It's not only me, it's my company too. I'm a director for Pete Sharma Associates now, and so I have to say that in my own personal life there was a bit of a battle between my wife and I. Can I get an iPad? And it came down to the want-need thing, like I want one, but I was told I didn't need one, so luckily the company got that. But it just meant that people could come out at the end and just have a look at some of the software and so on. So that went really well. And then I finished off my morning as part of a debate. So we had a debate about it.
How did that go?
Do you know, I really think it went brilliantly. I think if you'd managed to record that, you'd have heard really three sort of different perspectives. So I was invited to speak from the tech perspective,
right.
just all the stuff that's going on in technology. Candy Holst, she was speaking from the dogma perspective.
Right.
So she was supporting a lot of the work of Scott Thornbury and Luke Meddings
right.
about teaching without published materials. And then Evan Frendo, who's based in Berlin, he's a really well-known course book writer, was going at it from the course book perspective. And it was great because we all introduced the themes and the participants then had a chat about these different things. And it really transpired that there is a middle ground where people use different things. Sometimes they use a course book, sometimes not. But then there are also these very different methodological perspectives. So it was really good food for thought. Lots of interesting questions.
You could actually have all three of them, couldn't you? I mean, quite easily.
It's possible. It's so interesting. You can have all three. Because basically you say, oh right, this is a course, I need a course book, so you can use a course book. This course, I'm going to follow the student, and then these people, they're preparing a PowerPoint presentation, so I'm going to use technology. So you can have all three, but at the same time you can also have positions which are really diametrically opposed. So you could have someone saying, no way would I ever use a course book, absolutely making that stance.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting.
Yeah, I think it sounds very interesting. I think the idea is to be aware, to be aware of all of them, and the idea of principled eclecticism, where you take the good bits out of everything and you use it according to the situation.
That's a perfect phrase. That's a phrase I go along with. That's a really nice principled eclecticism. Spoke a lot about appropriacy, what's appropriate in this situation. So that's what I've been doing at the conference.
All right. I wanted to ask you a really quick question about presenting. I've seen a lot of presenters, fortunately, and you are really good. Yeah, you do a great job. Did you take it's okay. Did you take a course in presenting, or did you just learn it through teaching business English, or how did it come about?
I actually did a course.
You did?
Many, many years ago, and what was so interesting is that the course was a one-day course on giving effective presentations. And what I discovered is I went on it, and so much of the content was what we already do as trainers.
Right.
But the participants were often engineers, and they really know their stuff, but they couldn't put it across.
Okay.
So it's a bit like, it's a terrible thing to say, but I have seen the occasional presentations by lexicographers, and they really were, this is terribly damning, but people that perhaps are great in their field, but perhaps shouldn't really stand up and present, because what they do is, I am now going to speak about the 69 uses of the word and you kind of go to sleep,
See, I would like that.
It's interesting, but it was basically to get those people to really be more effective. So I found a lot of it was stuff that I was doing anyway. And what's interesting to me at the moment is just what is a good presentation.
Right.
And I'm learning very fast from TED.com, which is this amazing site. And I've just noticed that we tell our students to do all sorts of things like give an overview, state your aims, divide your presentation into 5 parts. We use all this signposting.
Signposting,
You flip on TED.com and there are inspirational presentations where I present exactly, and it's just so interesting. So I'm always thinking about, wow, what is a good presentation, and so on. So.
God, we could do a whole session on that. That would be really interesting.
I'm really interested in that area.
Also to help out people who are presenting at IATEFL or BESIG or wherever, teachers. We'll have to have another chat. All right. We're out of time. I think we could go on forever, but I'll catch you another time.
That's great.
All right. Thanks for coming and having a chat.
That's all right. My pleasure.
All right. Thanks for watching.